What would you do if your blog was hijacked by a criminal, literally, or your entire Facebook audience vanished overnight? Laura Ashley Johnson has lived through both of these unthinkable scenarios, and she came out stronger in the long run. In this episode, she shares the jaw dropping challenges she has faced as a food blogger, the mindset that kept her moving forward, and the power of community, grit, and starting over. If you have ever thought about quitting, I think we all have from time to time, do not miss this episode. It is so good. It's the comeback story we all need to hear. Tell us a little bit about your blog, which is called Dinner in 321.
So, like I said, Dinner in 321 has really been evolving my whole life, but where it really started was January 2025. I'm sorry, 2020, right before COVID. So, my son was visiting from college and making some mac and cheese from a box. And I said, "Hey, bud, I could teach you how to make some really good mac and cheese if you'd like." And he said, "Sure." So I showed him like making the roux, taking some cheese. I was like, "Whatever we got, we can make it." And he just watched. And then the next morning, I come down from work and he's making it by himself. And he was using whole wheat flour, which was not what I showed him, but it was a great start.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You should make TikToks. TikTok's the next big thing." And I think people would really like learn a lot from you. People want to learn what you just showed me. So I was like, "I'm going to do this." And I started with just TikTok and Instagram, but then I started having folks say, "Well, I don't have Instagram. I only have Facebook." So it grew to that. So I was just on socials for a while, and then a lot of things grew from there. But that's where it started. But I've always had a love for food. I am a dietitian and a diabetes educator as my profession when I went to college for, and I've always loved to cook and eat. I grew up with a big family of cooks. The rule was you either had to cook or clean, and I always wanted to cook. So,
Amazing.
yeah, so I just, brought on a lot of that from my elders, and I respect them. And they still cook with me on Dinner in 321.
Amazing. I love that story. So you started on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Have those channels grown pretty well for you?
I have across all of the socials, like I said, I'm on those, and I have YouTube and Pinterest as well. It's about 1.8 million followers now across all of them.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Um, yeah, it's been a wild ride, and I find I think we're going to talk a little bit more later about how the website developed, but the support of social has been a big support of how my business has grown.
Yeah, that is cool. I love stories like that. Okay, so from there, when did you decide to turn everything into a blog?
So a little over a year, we were in my family's house for Christmas, and my husband was like, we need to, bite the bullet and get in there and get this website started." So I knew nothing about a website development, how to do that. I had really no contacts to reach out to that. So I did it through an online source, which this will be one of our struggle, things I conquered later on we talk about. But it was about a year and a half into it, and then it's grown from there.
Okay, that's great. So I mean, this is not the normal story. Most people start with a blog and then they realize they have to build social. So you did it a little bit backwards, but I mean, it
Mhm.
sounds like you've found great success and you've been able to keep going. And I know that you've had a couple times in your journey when you could have easily been derailed, right? Do you want to talk through
Mhm.
those times?
Yes, it's perfect timing with what I just shared with the website too. So I hired, someone I didn't know through like a portal that you can join online. And they had all of what seemingly were the credentials for creating a website, a food blog website as well. So I basically, on scratch paper, I drew what I wanted it to look like. And I will say at the time, I did not realize what the purpose for like the written commentary on a recipe was for a blogger. I had no idea. And I had took this approach of I prided myself on only having the recipe there. I had no idea. So I had them upload the recipes every week, and it kind of got to where they weren't doing things correctly, and I taught myself how to code a
Oh,
recipe onto my website. Okay. I did
impressive.
not know this was a thing though, okay? So I taught myself, well, here's how things went down.
Oh no.
So this was the first bad moment. So I had the website a little over a year, and I'm like, I have such a good following on social. Why am I not monetized yet? I know that I should be getting the throughput on my site from this. What's going on? So my son is he's about to graduate from college, but he's in computer science, and he and his friend got on my website in the back end, and they were like, oh, um, do you know they're selling drugs on the back end of your website?
What?
Yeah. I was like, oh, excuse me? They're like, yeah, this is definitely an illegal drug trade situation on your website. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, shocked. It was, so my website is dinnerind321.com, and that's what it was. But their illegal drug trade was like .com / McCormick, and then like a big long tagline, like something I don't even know how they found it, but they're very computer smart, so they found it within about 10 minutes. So I was like, well, this makes sense. And I immediately changed my passwords, fired them, reported it. Nothing came of it with the place that they're still working to my knowledge, but I was in such panic mode, and I'd done this now, I'm blogging for about 3 years. I'm like, okay, I'm working so hard. I'm not making the money to. I am a dietitian. I could just do that. I need to either pivot and like create a product, or is this website ad thing worth the patience to continue working on this? I didn't really know where to go, and I had a community of like people, I call them my ride or dies, folks that I follow. They're just people who have support, they support me continuously, they engage and I engage on theirs, and it's a mutual support. And one um, creator, her name is Amy Nash, she's House of Nash Eats. She's just the sweetest,
I love
and
her. She's the best.
isn't she
Hmm.
is so sweet, like so gracious, and wants to help. So I sent her a DM. I was super nervous because I had asked like a couple bloggers in the past a couple questions and it wasn't well received. So I was just like, I don't
Hmm.
know where to turn. Like, are they going to be helpful or not?
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was going to be. So I reached out to her, and she said, let's have a conference call. I want to meet with you. I want to tell you all about this, and we're going to help get you on track. So she met with me like we are right now, gave me all kinds of contacts to fix everything. Everything was not set up right. There was no like recipe plugin on my website. So that coding wasn't necessary. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
She explained why writing a recipe is important and all of its elements on there in lots of different ways. And I literally spent the next about year and a half basically doing all of my recipes again, getting process photos, writing the whole thing. And but here's the thing. After she helped me, I got the right people and everything set up. I was monetizing in about a month and a half.
What? That's crazy. Awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was amazing. This all happened in like December, and like I think February, like second, like the first week of February, I was art like
Oh,
it was amazing. So, you know,
yeah.
big things happened since then.
Yeah. Okay. That there's so much baked into that that is important to talk about, I think, and that's the point of our conversation today. You didn't give up. You knew you had potential. You were like, wait a second, why isn't this working? Who the heck would know that there could even be a drug trade going on? What? I was speechless when you said that. I what? Oh my gosh. Thank God your son looked into that and found it.
Yeah.
Um, and then you reached out to somebody who you thought you could trust and she helped you. That's so incredible. And you got monetized. Amazing. Oh,
It
oh
was a
my
lot. It's
gosh.
big things, and it everything pivoted from there, honestly, even from all the things we're going to talk about with like networking and opportunities for growth. It all stemmed from that. And that could have been truly a moment. I was like, I am so tired of this. You work, it was nearly 3 years of working and not making, how hard it is, the amount of
Yeah.
time and money you put into it and you're not getting that return. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know if I can keep doing this,
Hmm.
but you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the hard times that make us realize what we need to do to get to the monetization and the traffic and the good times. So
Mhm.
you push
Absolutely.
through that yeah, that shows a lot about your character. And now I know you had a second obstacle come up. Do you want to talk through that?
Yes, yes. So after I got set up with all the right people that first year, a big turning point for me was I hired someone on my team that does a lot of my SEO strategy with me. We work extremely close. Her name is Laura Arnold. You've actually interviewed her on the podcast as well. She's an amazing human in every way, and I love working with her. So it's been a couple years of growth with her, and doing old work again and doing new work, and everything was going just so well, very so well. And this is kind of funny because we're on a podcast right now, so this has to do with a podcast. So I got an email and an invitation to be on a podcast. It's a legitimate podcast as well. I corresponded with this podcast for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and we ended up scheduling a date. I even ran it through someone to look at too, looked completely legitimate. Um, the morning we were going to get on a Zoom call to do the podcast, and I got on there, talked with them. We had to set it up kind of like how we did a setup this morning. And when I got off the call, I was prepared for the podcast, and I called a friend about something that just a follow up that I had missed a call, and then I got on my Facebook to check something, it was gone. I was like, what's going on? And literally, like, it was like my page, it didn't exist. So panic mode ensued immediately. I had nearly a half a million followers at that time, and everything was gone. So during that podcast, they were able to hack my account during this setup situation.
Okay.
They hacked my account, and they created a new page called Healthy Tips and Recipes, and it even said created by dinner in 321. So I created the
Whoa.
page. They migrated all my followers to that page, and then deleted me off the account, and then deleted my page. So I immediately went into fix it mode with Facebook. Over the course of about a month, I opened up 41 cases with Meta. I sent them every documentation that they ever like requested. Every time it was a new case, it was I had to tell the story all over again, like
Oh,
from the very start. About 2.5 weeks after it happened, I actually found out I didn't know about that page at first. This is at the time I only knew my page was missing,
yeah.
but a follower of mine from my hometown took a screenshot of something kind of like a trashy story that she saw. And she was like, I don't follow this. And she clicked on it, and she saw that like all of the mutual friends that she had were looked to be strange. So I looked on that page, and that's when I saw it was created by Dinner in 321. So I knew all of those, and there was about the same amount of followers. So at that point, I was like, I've got it. Here, they're all here.
Yeah.
This is going to be perfect now. Facebook will fix it. I I put this through the Better Business Bureau.
Oh
I tried
my.
getting lawyers involved. I was willing to go to California to fix this. I said, I will give you my DNA if you need it. Uh, this has taken me 4 years to create, and to lose it all in a second.
Yeah.
Um, it was disheartening, and I didn't share it on my blog because these were powerful, hackers, and I didn't know at what extent they could hurt me further. So
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. And after about a month, what the hackers ended up creating another page from that page. So it's like a level deeper, and migrated the followers to that. And then it didn't say dinner in 3, 2, 1 anymore. It said like from healthy tips and recipes. So I'm like, this is literally sucking all of my joy and energy every single day. I'm starting from scratch with this, and it was just breaking my heart. Um, so after that happened with the next page, I just surmised I'm like, I'm gonna start over again. I like Meta would not help me with all of my efforts.
Wow.
And so I started a new page, and they actually gave me back my old handle.
Okay.
My, because I was like, now I'm gonna have to have one social handle that's not dinner in 3, 2, 1. It'll have to be like the dinner in 3, 2, 1,
Yeah.
or so, but since they deleted it completely, they gave it back like facebook.com/dinner in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever been quite so speechless. I am so sorry.
Thank
Those
you.
are two huge hits to your heart and to your business. And I think a lot of
Mhm.
people would have left, like thrown in the towel and just, I don't know. I mean, that is, you said disheartening, but I was thinking more like completely heartbreaking and life shattering.
Oh yeah.
That's a
No, it
huge
was for sure.
deal.
Like I felt so kind of like just such a void, like I couldn't feel. And also, I think a lot of us know with like our families too, we don't want to wear them out with our like our feelings of sorrow. It's something like that. Like they know that we're sad. And so I was like, I feel like I can't, continue with this conversation. And like honestly, if I didn't even talk about it, you could read it on me. I was just always waiting for because there's a because Facebook does call. Um, and so I was waiting on the calls and waiting to get back in the chats, getting support. You can talk back and forth with them, but it's just a struggle bus. Um, so, you know, I it was a big heartbreak for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I can't believe that there's nothing set up in Meta to help help you. I mean, it sounds like you went round and round and it's obvious what happened. So why couldn't they shut that page down and give you your page? Was there an answer to that?
They said the migration of my followers from that page to the new one is an illegal, like, or like something that's not allowed. But I'm like, well, obviously it's probably not allowed, but it can happen. So why don't you migrate them back to my page? They're my followers. Um, and they initially tried to monetize off of my followers because that's what they want the
Yeah.
followers for. They want clickbait and they can monetize off of them. Because it was also my best monetization social media platform. Also, it was my biggest traffic source to my
Oh
website was Facebook
gosh.
as well. So it was like I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like, me not having this back is a huge blow to my finances as a business. And you would talk to some Meta people, and they knew, like, they had compassion and they did believe me. So you had this like hope that they're gonna advocate for you and make this happen, and then they wouldn't. And then the next person you talk to doesn't know my story at all.
Yeah.
So it was just like starting over. But I mean, I had to send in passport information, articles of formation for the business. I even hired a hacking consultant. I
Oh
paid
my
thousands of
gosh.
dollars
Oh
for
my
this
gosh,
hacking.
Laura.
Yeah, I did literally everything you could possibly do, and nothing worked.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're gonna get to like how you got through that, but if this happens to anyone else, do you have tips for them? Like just let it lie, like don't go through the hassle, or what do you have for people? Because I know other people who have gone through this before, sadly. What would you say to them?
Well, the first thing is trust nothing until you just do your work. I'm telling you, even when I applied to be on your podcast, but even when I got the email of we'd like to have you on here, I vetted it with a
Oh
friend just to make
wow. Oh
sure, like,
gosh. Yeah.
because I get podcast invites every single day that are fake. And
Wow.
they sometimes can obviously be fake and sometimes they're not. But um so just literally vetting everything that you get. I had another like this was right after that. I had a brand, so I used a piece of like a bakeware in a video, and so the brand reached out to me to wanted to do like set up a long-term contract, and It looked great. I reached out to the brand myself though, and I was like, I just want to vet this. I would love this opportunity, but just want to make sure. And they were like, can you speak on the phone? I was like, absolutely. So I get on there, and they said this is not real, but they are using our marketing person as like. If I were to look up that brand and who their marketing leader is, she was the leader. I would have just, oh, it's her. She is the person. So it's real. It wasn't real.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's that easy. And like if I had gone with that, then they want you to like connect your socials and really connecting your socials for analytics. They're actually connecting it to have access, the people
Yeah.
that are hacking in order to do that. So you have to do your homework before agreeing to anything. And there is meta support. On Instagram, I have the blue check mark and I can get them on a chat Instagram's very simple to do that. And I even used it when I was trying to get Facebook things going on and they don't like that. But if I couldn't get Facebook going on a communication, that was one way to connect it. And on Facebook, I am a verified account now. I don't have the blue check mark. I'm on a waiting list for that now,
Hmm.
but for like safety measures, I am a verified account and I had to provide like extra documentation for that. And I have some great passwords as well.
Wow, you should start like a little course, like how to protect yourself, because I think a lot of us are just so trusting. Like, oh, a podcast. Why would you ever think otherwise? That's so
Yeah.
crappy and crazy. Yeah, I'm
They
so
can so
sorry.
easily do it as well.
Yeah.
Like even something out of the food world, but I was watching like TikTok has TikTok shop and things, and there was a top I liked the other day, and I went to the website to buy it, and I was like something just was off, so I Googled the name, and this fake company was basically showing a real company's video. So if you ordered that item from them, it
Oh,
would be like a super cheap knockoff that was not good.
wow.
And so I went to that girl's page and I saw like a few videos of hers of like, I don't know how to make them stop. And this is if make sure you buy it from this boutique. This is the only place
Yeah.
that it is. So it's like you have to do a little extra homework just to
Yeah.
make sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've all been given a lesson, so be careful, people, what you
Yeah.
open and agree to. So
Yeah.
these two things, these two stories are heart-wrenching, and oh my gosh, how did you keep moving forward? What are some of the pieces that made you continue? Because a lot of people would not have done that.
So the most important is my faith. Like, I knew that God had blessed me with this journey. And so, prayer and seeking guidance on what I should do, that is the first source I would go to. And I knew that, like, we all are given purpose to, like, spread joy. And that is what I want to do on my page. And I want to help families get dinner on the table in a way that they find joy and their family likes it. Like, I know my mission. So that's my first source. And then my family is the second. My husband is my biggest cheerleader. He is the
Oh,
reason like that I have my business and have been able to grow and make big decisions with it. He is my guiding light in this. So my husband and then my extended family as well, my mom, all of them, like they're all there for me. And I've built a huge community even in these moments out of the Facebook thing in particular, the love and grace and kindness that my followers gave me when I did share what happened was an incredible blessing. Like I still think about it. I could go back to that. I shared one thing on all socials just to say this is my new page, and this is I gave them a snippet of what happened just so that they would know. And I if I needed a boost of love, I could go to that pastor and read their comments. They're the sweetest
yeah.
comments and just the direct messages and stuff. It was overwhelming love. So that's what helped me to push on.
Yeah.
God, my family, and my community I've built with Dinner in 321.
So leaning on the people who love you and who are supporting you was kind of the first thing to get you through the madness to put the pieces back together and keep going.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then did
Mhm.
you lean into the food blogging community much during that time? I know Amy helped you, and
Mhm.
I don't know if you had other support in your business yet, but how much did you lean on our community?
So I met a lot of people. Once I met Amy, she was my open door to really forming some incredible relationships. Before her, I had my ride or die community on my socials, but she invited me to Tastemakers, to the
Oh,
conference that
good.
was in
Yeah.
March. So she invited me there, and I mean, I was super nervous. I knew nobody except Amy.
Yeah.
So I went there, and everyone was so sweet. I formed some amazing relationships, and then from there, it's just grown. I have a probably 30 to 40 like really close blogging friends that are like go to DMs, texts, because from there also came retreats and mastermind opportunities. And I've spoke with some masterminds that I'm not a part of, but I've been like a guest in them
Yeah.
as well. So that was my open door for forming some really amazing friendships.
There is so much power there. I love that you connected with people. I almost got emotional because it's so overlooked if you don't have it, but once you get it, you see there's so much power. You can't even explain it in words, right? Like you feel the love, but you also feel the growth and the learning and all the other little perks that come along with knowing people who are in it with you. So, so glad you found
Absolutely.
them. Yeah.
Thank you. And once you find them too, it was my first realization like, this is not, I felt like this world was a competition and no one, and people were out for themselves until
Yeah.
this happened. But because that was the only experience I had had asking a couple folks, like a couple simple questions. I got these answers that made me feel disheartened. So I was like, I'm not asking for help anymore. Must be how people are. But no, my friends, my close friends, we are all each other's biggest cheerleaders. That's what we want to do. We get so much joy out of seeing each other succeed.
Yeah. I know. I This community is amazing. 99%. Like everyone is generous and supportive and kind, and I know that not every community is like that. I hear from other communities like, "Oh my gosh, the food blogging space is so amazing," and it really is. So I'm yeah, just so grateful that you found them because I'm sure that helped you get through some of the hard times that were lingering,
Oh,
maybe a little
yes.
bit.
Oh, for sure.
So talk about your two big kind of, you know, situations aside. I'm sure being on social media and having big accounts and then starting the blog, you've also had to face, like we all do, criticism on some level, whether it's blog comments or YouTube comments or whatever. How do you recommend dealing with that?
So what I tell folks a lot, because that's my friends ask that same question quite a bit, is just that comes with the territory of this business. It it does. So expect it, and you're going to see it every day. And whatever you feel is like a weakness, like something you don't like about yourself, magnify that. Someone's going to bring it up and they're going to say something not nice about it. So in the beginning of blogging, yes, did it impact me a lot more heavily for sure. But now I look at it as that shows their heart, not mine. And they're so weak and unhappy that they had to say that to make themselves feel better for some reason. Like something, there's a void they're having to fill.
Yeah.
Um, I personally don't share. I have some blogging friends who will share like a mean comment or something
Mm,
on their stories or
yeah.
something, and maybe that's therapeutic for them to kind of do that and it helps them. But for me, I feel like it just shines a light on it, and I feel like it's because I'm good. If I did that, I would get a ton of comments or messages back like, "You didn't deserve that. That's so
Yeah.
mean. I hate when people. I don't I don't need to do that."
Yeah.
So I think more of just have the expectations going to be there for sure. Anything that you feel is something you've not liked about yourself or you like to change, it's going to be heightened. Um, and consider it a boost in your algorithm.
Yes, 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 yes.
You just help me because honestly, if you have a good community too, they'll make one mean comment, they'll have a thread of people supporting me right
Yes,
behind
right.
it.
And you don't
So
have to say a word. Yeah.
no, you don't have to say anything. So I used to give like a thumbs up to mean comments or just like a
Mm.
smile,
Yep.
but I never banter back and forth with a troll.
Yeah.
Never.
It's feeding the fire, and it does
Hmm.
give attention to the things that you don't want in your life.
Yeah.
I think even if you reply with something positive, you're still feeding it. That's what they
Yeah.
want. They want a reply from you. So
Right.
I'm of the mindset to completely ignore the
Hmm.
garbage. And like you said, it's good for the algorithm. It just my husband always called it um oh my gosh, I've forgotten it. Healthy oh, it like the concept of it engagement and starting in an unhealthy way, but it's actually adding to the flavor of your growth. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's also just showing the reflection of your type. I'm a strong person. I can take a few punches. It's totally fine. Think about how many people who support you versus those few that are mean and just, focus on that. And I think it's almost like you come to this there was a point at which I feel like I just was like, listen, this is not worth an ounce of my thought.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
not.
it's really not. So I probably in the beginning did post like, look what this person said, but I
Yeah,
wouldn't do that again,
yeah,
ever.
over that. I think that there's a learning curve to that too, and just kind of a maturity that you come to if you've been doing this long enough, where it's like, I don't need to engage. I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
happy with my people and myself.
Yes.
Have you had any self doubt over the years during your debacles and also after? And how have you dealt with that?
Oh, for sure. I can tell you, I comparison we talk about a lot in different like retreats and conferences and stuff. It is one of the worst things you can do is comparing yourself and like wishing you were already at this point where someone else is in their journey. So I think when I have done that, like seeing another person doing great things and I'm not there, it makes me doubt like what am I missing that's there? Instead of being like, okay, time is one thing that you can't really purchase as a food blogger. You know, I would have given lots of money to like just get to where someone else is, but that's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Like it's a timing game. Even starting with my SEL gal back, we've been together now for 2 years. I knew it was going to be a slow growth, but watching it happen, evolve over the last 2 years has been incredible. And like 2 years ago, I would have been like, this is just taking forever.
Mm.
Like, it's very frustrating. So yeah, self-doubt for sure. And think comparing yourself with others is what can creep that into. So I try to be cognizant of this is my journey and um, what can I do to improve it or to grow,
Yeah.
not compare it to like where somebody else is.
And I think what I'm hearing too is maybe a bit of enjoying the journey, even if it feels struggly and like, is this ever going to get where I want it to go? Just sitting back and enjoying it is, it sounds like you do that too.
I do. I will say my my birthday present to myself last year, this will sound pretty bad, I will say. I used to have my notifications turned on for all of my social media outlets, and I was constantly commenting back and messaging, and it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to not enjoy it, just because I'd be having conversation, be like, just continue looking down, afraid I'd miss something or not, answer a question. So on my birthday, I turned my notifications off for everything, and I was like, just for the day, but I didn't turn it back on.
Yay.
So it's like I engage a lot on social media. Like that's why I have a large community, and I even have a VA that helps me to keep up. But you can also only do so much, or you get put in Instagram and Facebook jail. So there is a limit to which you can do
Yeah.
that too. Um, but that helped me to get back to enjoying the journey
Yeah.
more, not being able to disconnect a little bit
Yeah. I'm
from
so
that.
glad when you said that you gave it to yourself as a birthday gift. I was like, "Oh, I hope she kept it." I was so happy to hear that you did. Yeah,
Yes.
that's great. I've been notificationless for a few years, and it was life-changing for me, honestly. It changed within a few months. I felt like my life was totally different in a better way. It and that's not being dramatic at all. Like it literally changed my life.
Yeah, I mean, and the tools that are now in place, like I use grocers lists, so that helps
Yeah.
to answer a lot of the things that I used to do and be able to they've really changed the trajectory of my business in terms of my social media on Instagram and Facebook. Um, and that has helped since I don't do the notifications anymore with that. But I still answer for me every DM that I get on Facebook and Instagram. And I try to stay on top of answering back things on like like the comments on a post as well. It'll only let you do so much, but I do stay very engaged still. I remember at the first retreat I went to, they were like, "You're on it that much?" Like, but I know that the social media outlets have, I feel like, blessed me with um, a presence on there because I am so active with
Yeah.
my people who follow me and with my followers.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you can be engaged without letting it run your life,
Yes.
basically. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, I want to hear about teams. So
Hmm.
just how you have managed to, because you have some trust issues in your business, like some really bad things happen because you trusted people. So how have you been able to hire a successful team? Do you just want to talk through that a little bit?
Yes. So building my team of friends in my community, my food blogging friends, has been what has built my community of people who work for me and with
Mhm.
me. So over time, as you know, things financially improved with my business, I hired a little bit more every time. And it was all direct recommendations from my friends who have had good experiences.
Yeah.
So I say seek from within because typically if your friends have had good experiences, you're gonna have good experiences too. And of course, going to conferences and learning about new opportunities for working with people there, and a lot of businesses are represented there in that room with all the businesses, and you can hire some great people through that too, if it's not through a friend, like they're there to talk with too. So I haven't, fortunately, I haven't had to have a lot of trial and error with my team because they've just worked from the start.
Yeah.
So
That's good. So it kind of
yeah,
goes back
so
to the community piece, right? And
it does.
having supportive, smart, generous people around you who you trust, who can pass off like, oh, web hosting is this is a great option, or here's a great VA or whatever, and then just
Mhm.
it's kind of like a built-in team, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I like right now, like I said, I have my SEO gal. Grocers List is a service, but I would consider it like a
Yeah,
part of my team. I have a Pinterest lady and an email lady. I have a VA, and I have like some kitchen assistants. Some days I might make more than one recipe. So those things, you always got to think of like there's an expense into it, but what is the outcome because of that too? It might even just be mental health, honestly.
yeah,
Just to get like having someone in the kitchen with me doing 4 recipes or something, like I also have a presence there to chat with and to keep me keep me on pace and clean and just, that supportive source right there. So there's a purpose, even if it's not always necessarily quickly monetarily, it could be something just like emotionally and mentally healthy as well.
yeah, totally get that. Do you have, I know you've given a lot of reasons not to give up. I mean, good things always wait for you on the other side of big challenges, but do you want to give a little bit of additional encouragement if somebody is going through something hard like what you've been through, or maybe it's something else entirely, just to keep going?
I would say look at the people in your circle already and see where you can find help. Ask for help. Probably the biggest thing. Be discerning, of course, of who is in your circle as well. Discernment is very important. I knew immediately who I could ask that was very kind. I just had that intuition about it. So ask from within, if especially if you know they've had a struggle as well. Most of us want to help. I was at a event one time and this person DM'd me while I was there and I was reading it to a person beside me what this person asked and she was like, "Listen, you are on social at this level. You're going to get a ton of people asking you questions." I'm like, I'm not going to not answer her question because that is the person that asked and didn't help me before.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect moment, but I thought, but you will probably be the person who wouldn't. Like,
Yeah.
just answer, she's not asking to have a conference call or, a complete lesson in social media. It was just something that could literally make a different trajectory for her business. So
Yeah.
um, I liked that she felt she could ask. So ask
Yeah.
for help from within and look and having that supportive family who also know the demands of our job. It is a job as well. That's important. If they think it's just for fun only, you might want to change that perception
Yeah.
because it's very different.
Some conversations to
um,
have. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I had a double job though for the longest time. After I met Amy and went to Tastemakers and I went to my very first retreat. At that first retreat was when I realized I needed to quit my job as a dietitian.
Hmm.
Like I had this aha moment. I knew where I was financially and what I needed to do to pivot to make my blog a success. And so I put my notice in right then
Oh
while I
my
was there.
gosh, amazing. Ah, that's
Yeah.
a
And I had
really
my
cool
biggest
story.
cheerleaders right there.
Yeah, right. Right with you,
Yeah.
cheering you on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Laura, thank you for sharing all of this. I know some of it is probably pretty raw, and some, like, these stories are no joke. You went through, I mean, oof, a lot more than most of us can say we've been through. That's some pretty big stuff. So good for you. First of all, thanks for sharing. Good for you for getting past it and continuing
Thank
to move
you.
on. And I think that in itself is so inspiring and will land really well with listeners. So, yeah, just thank you for everything and sharing today and
Yeah.
joining us here.
Thank you so much.
It's been,
I've enjoyed it.
yeah, it's been such a pleasure. You've already given us so much inspiration, but do you have additional either a quote or words of inspiration to leave us with?
So I'll tell you, these are what I call my three C's. When I've done mastermind like groups to teach some things about social media or blogging, I say these are my three C's. First, just don't get buried in analytics. If you'll do these things, I think it is my experience that you'll succeed. Make quality content. So content first, make quality content. Um, be consistent with your content. Be consistently present and connect with your audience. They want to be your friend, not just make the pie that looks so delicious. They want to know where you learned how to make that pie and why your mama was so sweet when she made it. So, content, consistency, and connection are my three C's.
I love it. And I love the way you say pie. That's the cutest thing ever. Oh,
Thank
great
you.
way to end. We will put together a show notes page for you, Laura. If anyone wants to go
Okay.
look at those, we'll have everything we talked about today. You can head to eatblogtalk.com/dinner in 321. Tell everyone where they can find you, Laura.
I am on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Pinterest, all Dinner in 321. My website is dinnerin321.com. And just, I will say as well, it's the holiday season, I believe, as we're sharing this now. And happy holidays to everyone. And I do have a holiday recipe card. So you're going to see that on my page as you enter it now. So just to let you know,
Oh,
that's what you're going to see now.
that's exciting. Awesome. Well,
Thank you.
everyone, go check out Laura's content. And again, thanks for being here and sharing, Laura. And thank you for listening, food bloggers. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Eat Blog Talk. This episode was brought to you by the Eat Blog Talk Mastermind, where bloggers come together to break through barriers and accelerate growth. Learn more at eatblogtalk.com/mastermind. I will see you next time.